therefore, they have issues of dual citizenship.
Multiple citizenship.
Or multiple, some even multiple. Now, we were told that they wrote to the Solicitor General, who I think advised and wrote a report which is going to be given to the President, and he will act thereafter.
Right.
So we can't know the fate, but His Excellency, the appointing authority, has the final say. We can only wait.
And indeed, we look forward to what the final say, that final say shall be from.
Because we don't want joy to turn into tears. I saw some celebrating, being congratulated, you know.
Well, some tears have already been expressed all over social media, and the stories as follows. But on that note, Robert, take us away with what we have on the local scene here in Uganda.
Please allow me to start with that very story. Well, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni presided over the swearing-in ceremony of Uganda's newly appointed cabinet ministers and state ministers, marking the beginning of a new phase of government administration. 78 members of the executive took oath of allegiance and oath of minister, formally assuming their responsibilities in government. Guiding the swearing-in process was the head of public service and secretary to cabinet, Ms. Rusi Nachobe. The ministers took two key oaths: the oath of allegiance, through which they pledged loyalty to the Republic of Uganda and committed themselves to preserving, protecting, and defending the Constitution, and the oath of minister, which bids them or binds them to faithfully serve the Republic of Uganda, upholding the Constitution, advise the President in the execution of his duties, and maintain confidentiality on matters of state. On behalf of public service, Ms. Nachobe congratulated the newly appointed cabinet ministers on this achievement. She also reminded them that the oath they took is constitutionally and a requirement and a solemn commitment to serve the people of Uganda with integrity, diligence, patriotism, and humility. Addressing the newly sworn-in leaders, President Museveni offered a brief but pointed message, congratulating them on their appointments and wishing them success in serving the country. To facilitate the new cabinet ministers in their transition to new offices, Ms. Nachobe informed them of an induction training program that has been organized starting on the 14th to the 23rd of this month at the National Leadership Institute, Changkwanzi. The orientation will equip ministers with knowledge of cabinet procedures, government systems, policy implementation mechanisms, and their responsibilities as members of the executive. The World Health Organization Director General Tedros is in Uganda to assess how the country is handling her Ebola response following the spillover from Democratic Republic of Congo. Dr. Tedros said the World Health Organization is supporting Uganda and DRC to have a joint response plan, including Uganda sending medical teams to DRC. Uganda and the DRC are working on a memorandum of understanding to have medical teams from Uganda participate in management of Ebola outbreak in DRC. This was disclosed by the delegation from World Health Organization that visited Uganda to assess the Ebola preparedness and response efforts. Uganda is already training the teams that will travel to DRC to participate in the Ebola response. The World Health Organization team called on the international community to consider travel restrictions on Uganda. The World Health Organization pledged to support a coordinated response to Uganda and DRC to see to it that the Ebola outbreak is contained. Political activists have intensified in Kalangala district, beg your pardon, political activities have intensified in Kalangala district following the death of former district woman member of parliament Helen Nachimoli in preparation for the by-election. Candidates aspiring for the vacant woman member of parliament seat will register for nomination on the 10th and 11th of this month. The Director, NRM Mobilization, Dr. Rosemary Nansubu Gaseninde, met local NRM leaders to strategize and mobilize voters. The party has endorsed Aida Nabayiga as the flag bearer. Ujumba County Member of Parliament Willie Rugolobi appealed to the party leadership to support their candidate. Kalangala resident District Commissioner Fred Bada called upon those traveling from the mainland to comply with the standard operating procedures on Ebola. Dr. Rosemary Nsubu Gaseninde said the NRM leadership was in Kalangala to mobilize for the by-election. She emphasized focus on electing a capable representative. Ambassador Chinove emphasized the by-election for the NRM win. For her part, Aida Nabayiga emphasized challenges during the campaign. And winding up the local scene, police have arrested 8 suspects in connection with the death of Sydney Kondio, a professional rugby player who was killed in a mob action incident in the Bukoto Nakawa division. Police have also intensified the investigations into the kidnap and subsequent murder of Lydia Babidi after arresting 2 suspects. Following a review of CCTV footage from the Bukoto border stage, police arrested 3 suspects in connection with the murder of Sydney. The suspects have been identified as Sebagala Nordin, Ayebazibwe Rodney, and Namusoke Jr. Preliminary investigations indicate that the deceased was allegedly subjected to mob justice. Police are using information obtained from the 3 suspects to investigate and identify other individuals still at large. The 2025 annual crime report shows that out of 4,238 homicide cases recorded, 950 resulted from mob action. Meanwhile, police have intensified investigations into the kidnap and murder of Lydia Babidi, whose body was recovered in a decomposed state at the home of one of the suspects. And with that, we come to the end of our local stories this morning. Let's take a look at what Julie has for us on the international scene.
Right, thank you very much, Robert. And I think my highlight so far on the local scene was Tedros Adhanom's visit to Uganda. I hope he really gives the rest of Western media the report as it is, the true reports as they are.
Talked about the travel restrictions.
Yes.
Well, it blows that better because I think we are being condemned.
And that, I think,
for
being blown out of
that's what I want to say. You know, people have created a mountain out of a ant hill. In this case, yet we have handled this before. Even our research has been praised globally on such issues. So,
even in as much as COVID.
Actually, I must say, I believe in Africa we had the best response, and globally we rank anything up.
I do agree.
So what is Ebola? That is very easy to handle.
I know, right? Now, let's take a look at what we have on the foreign scene, and we're starting off with China and North Korea, as Chinese President Xi Jinping and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un underscored their commitment to deepen cooperation in a closely watched summit on Monday. As Xi made a rare visit to Pyongyang in a likely attempt to reassert Beijing's unique influence over its socialist neighbor. It's Xi's first visit to North Korea in 7 years. Earlier, Monday, he was given a lavish welcome upon arrival at Pyongyang's international airport. He and his wife, Peng Liyuan, were greeted by Kim and his wife, Ri Soljun, who broadly smiled and clapped. Xi later arrived at Pyongyang's main square, where a military honor guard and thousands of people, including children, carrying balloons and hoping staged a welcoming ceremony. Buildings surrounding the plaza were draped in two countries' flags, giant portraits of Kim and Xi, and red and yellow banners welcoming the Chinese leader and celebrating the nation's friendship and unity. Now moving on, Iran and Israel have halted their mutual attacks, but Tehran has warned that strikes will resume in Israel. Continued aggression, including in Lebanon. U.S. President Donald Trump told the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to be careful, or, quote, you will be on your own very soon, according to the Axios news site, as Israel strikes on Beirut and Iran threatens the U.S. ceasefire with Tehran. Iran's chief negotiator with the U.S. and parliamentary speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, said Tehran has disrupted a ceasefire that was on paper only while repeated violations were carried out on the ground, and warned that there was no genuine will to build trust. The U.S. military Central Command CENTCOM said its forces attacked a disabled an oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman that was heading towards the Iranian port, adding that a total of 7 vessels have now been struck. Similarly, since the U.S. imposed a blockade on Iran's ports in April, Israeli attacks on southern Lebanon killed at least a dozen people on Monday, including a woman and a child, with 2 Lebanese paramedics wounded as the death toll from Israel's onslaught on the country since March reached 3,637. Interesting picture there, Robert. They asked you to caption it. It would probably reiterate what the U.S. President told the Israeli Prime Minister to be careful, or you will be on your own very soon.
You know what is interesting? It's as if I'm not afraid of it. You will soon. You will soon. If you don't, just give it to us. Interesting. Now, let's move to the African continent. A group of 150 Malawians repatriated from South Africa amid growing worries about xenophobia are due to arrive by road in their home country on Malawian authorities. The repatriation followed violence in South Africa's Western Cape province, where they were reported just over a week ago intimidation, isolation, as well as the death of 2 Mozambicans in Malawians were among a number of foreign nationals who had sought refuge in temporary camps in Mozambique, according to a statement from Ghana, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe have also organized repatriation flights after raising concern about xenophobia in South Africa. Anti-migrants are demanding undocumented migrants leave the country and have 30th June as in a national address on Sunday aimed at easing tension. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa announced a raft of new measures to cut down on illegal migration. And that brings us to the end of what we have on the morning. Let's take a quick dive into what the daily is this morning. And as always, we start off with the new vision. Robert, what does the new vision have for us? Miss off next. What next? 4 ministers. Not soon. Are they ministers?
I don't think so. Designate.
Now, new details on business women. I'm still looking at the still vision, the new vision, 2026, Fred tourism, get 1.5 trillion, and shape what hero is. One of justice continues in rise in Uganda. That is a question. And now looking at Daily Monitor this morning, Well, there's a big picture and the picture of those who never appeared yesterday in ceremony. Still US led in development phase Uganda's health sector. And that tenders for you daily today, so check and the fate of the ministers are not reportedly citizens of other countries. President Museveni for a journal from the head of that is public service general. So we wait to see what will be outcomes before President will decide.
Sometimes you wonder though that the final decision, there should be some due diligence done that some of the issues are sifted out.
Well, don't forget that and we're interested because you've had this instance. I remember one time one military officer was appointed and the law said something. Those still in certain offices. So these are fountain of honor, and there are certain things powers given to him.
Right, indeed. And I think I also saw a story. On a time General was in was predicament.
You had general around I don't know if you are born by
the time he served, in the army,
well, a minister.
It was in the recent but looking at the Daily Nation representing Kenya, the headline is on the headline in the Daily National towards the general election next year, but judgment, public participation, all of that, some holding that in elimination to Maraga arrested grab and 15 billion revenue stolen MPs over 425 billion shillings. Why conditions proceedings over Ebola facility in the Daily Nation, and that Daily Nation, and we have for you with the updates that come here this morning. We are taking a short break because of serious ban, because we are delving into conversations of the questions. There's a lot to learn the conversation that we are going to have today as we celebrate Heroes Day. 0709 so that you are part of the conversation here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Now have a good morning. We'll be right back in just a bit. Celebrated scientifically with the President addressing the nation in commemoration of Heroes Day at 10 a.m. on TV, radio, and social media. It will be the 37th Heroes Day commemoration anniversary here in Uganda as we take time to celebrate it and as we take time to be away from work. Another public holiday. It is what? An avalanche of public holidays it has been for Uganda. Could be the last one until maybe about Independence Day. I don't know. For us in the media space, we continue serving you, and as UBC TV, always a pleasure inspiring Uganda. Good morning. You are watching UBC TV coming to you live from the Nile Avenue. My name is Julie F. Lentova with Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono, and I'd love to hear from Robert. Robert, who will you?
A single one, I want to say my hero is my dad.
Oh, your dad. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's profound. It speaks a lot.
And you know what?
We could elaborate this.
I've now grown, I'm a man. I have a family now. I've seen in this day and age how many men have given up responsibility. And I learned that I was actually blessed to have a man who stood by my mother, by me when I was 1 day old, or even minutes, because she was there when my mother was giving birth to me. Till today. Now I know that those men should be celebrated.
What is it?
After I hear stories of my friends, I see colleagues smart in suits, sleeping in good houses. But when you look at the children they are covered in or out, you're like, hey, such men should be celebrated. Fathers,
I hear you.
don't take them. Today I want to speak truth to people like us. If you have a man who is a father, a responsible father, 100%
Present.
and present, that man is a hero. However, on this day, also I just want to remind Ugandans that Uganda in Africa, we are the #1 refugee hosting country. In the entire world or globally, we could be third. And what does this mean? We are now importers of refugees. At one time, we were exporters of refugees. And many people will tell you, I was in exile. So this Heroes Day has recognized people who have made exceptional sacrifices for this country in the time of peace, development, and other fields. Because today we broadened it. It's not only to the Bushwa heroes, and you see people who receive medals these days. Not all of them are those who fought. So it's very important that as we celebrate this public holiday, you don't take for granted or think that it is what it should be. Because there was a time when it was Uganda. Having Ugandans, the people would tell you they were going to work stressfully, some jumping dead bodies. People will tell you they left this country not for greener pastures, but for the sake of their life. People will tell you that men had people referred to as men, abasajja baabo, and they would take off. Women would tell you how they weren't sure if their movements, they won't be raped. Today I see very many girls in skimpy dresses at any hour of the night, moving peacefully. I see today people, I don't know if you've come across them, he's moving with man and you can see bundles and bundles. You know, have people in their vehicles, and there is peace. Of course, even development as well. So happy Heroes Day. We are importers, not exporters of refugees.
Right, thank you, Robert, for that. Now, in a nutshell, in just a minute, there's a story that you've been following, right? A story that you've been looking into regarding ministers who are...
This is the swearing in of ministers that happened yesterday. And Julie, I want to let you know that out of the 83, we had 78 swear. That meaning be sworn in. That means 5 never turned up. 5 designated ministers never turned up, as appointed by the president. 1, of course, the First Lady. The explanation was given by the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Mr. Yebwa. Her office wrote and informed them she wasn't there for the vetting, and neither would she be there for the swearing in. But the other 4, they have issues of dual citizenship.
Multiple citizenship.
Or multiple, some even multiple. Now, we were told that they wrote to the Solicitor General, who I think advised and wrote a report which is going to be given to the president, and he will act thereafter.
Right.
So we can't know the fate, but His Excellency, the appointing authority, has the final say. We can only wait.
And indeed, we look forward to what the final say, that final say shall be from...
Because we don't want joy to turn into tears. I saw some celebrating, being congratulated, you know.
Well, some tears have already been expressed all over social media, and the stories as follows. But on that note, Robert, take us away with what we have on the local scene here in Uganda.
Please allow me to start with that very story. Well, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni presided over the swearing-in ceremony of Uganda's newly appointed cabinet ministers and state ministers, marking the beginning of a new phase of government administration. 78 members of the executive took oath of allegiance and oath of minister, formally assuming their responsibilities in government. Guiding the swearing-in process was the head of public service and secretary to cabinet, Ms. Rusi Nachobe. The ministers took two key oaths: the oath of allegiance, through which they pledged loyalty to the Republic of Uganda and committed themselves to preserving, protecting, and defending the Constitution, and the oath of minister, which bids them or binds them to faithfully serve the Republic of Uganda, upholding the Constitution, advise the President in the execution of his duties, and maintain confidentiality on matters of state. On behalf of public service, Ms. Nachobe congratulated the newly appointed cabinet ministers on this achievement.
L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
I know what Uganda needs. When General Caleb Akandwanaho retired, Salim Saleh presented his long, detailed analysis of Uganda's economy and structured recommendations for improvement in the form of the Third National Development Plan, NDP-3. To President Museveni, he laid out the kinds of problems that many Ugandans feel every day, but rarely see captured in one place. He was doing what he has done for years, breaking down the problems holding back ordinary Ugandans. He talked about distortions in factors of production, such as land conflicts that choke investment, the high cost of finance for ordinary people, the shortage of skills among youth, the slow pace of value addition, and the gap between production in the villages and the factories in industrial parks. It was the kind of diagnosis a technocrat offers when trying to get a country unstuck. The President's reply was striking in its simplicity. I know what Uganda needs. At first, to others, it might have sounded almost dismissive. But when placed in the context of 40 years of state rebuilding, economic reform, and political stability, it revealed something deeper. A belief that Uganda's path to transformation has been consistent, deliberate, and informed by lived experience rather than theory. His confidence is not based on guesswork. It's based on the journey already traveled. He always stresses that any serious revolutionary discussion about the economy of Uganda, or indeed much of Africa, should include the following questions. 1. What was the economy of Uganda like in 1900, at the dawn of